How far are you willing to go to earn a good living? Are you willing to risk your life? And should you be asked to risk your life? In the year 2020, I had graduated from med school. After 7 years of education, I was like, you know what? It's finally time to reap the benefits. But it was the wrong year, apparently, because no one was hiring. I graduated in a year where the government was like, no, we are not able to give everyone a job. So I ended up doing 2 years of unpaid internship. And even after that, there was still no job offers within the country. So I received a job offer from someone in a neighboring country. I texted them on WhatsApp. I was blind, yes, but I was desperate enough to risk anything to at least try to find myself something to do, because it was a point where nothing was working out. We had no income as a family and things were just going bad. I was willing to risk a lot of things. Somehow it paid off. I went to the other country, worked at that job for a while, got fired, but managed to land in a safe place. Not many people are that lucky. Many people might fall into these job offers that seem too good to be true, and they end up being a scam. Welcome to today's video. Now, my name is Sigiro. Today we're talking about job scams and how they tie into the global $500 billion industry of online scams. I was looking at this story about guys in West Africa who found themselves looking for a job. They found job offers on the internet. Some of them did online interviews and they were accepted to go and work in Thailand. They send in their credentials, they get accepted, they give them transports. They get on a plane and fly to Thailand for a job. But when they get there, things become a little bit shady. They hand in their passports and they get driven for hours and hours into Myanmar, a capital for online schemes, places where they go in and they are forced to perform these online scams. Many people in the West might recognize them as maybe a romantic scam. The Chinese call it fattening the pig. They have recognized that psychologically, people are willing to give more money to someone that they have gotten to know. You have a friend request on a social media platform with this guy you've never met who looks so handsome, or this girl who looks so beautiful, and they make you fall in love in these investments in crypto. So you start with a small amount of money and actually get returns. You actually withdraw the money and you're like, okay, this is a legit business, until by the time you realize you have invested your whole life savings into this crypto thing, and then the person on the other end stops responding and the website just closes off. Your money is gone. People have been losing up to $200,000, $500,000 that they have kept in their accounts as a saving fund. When cracking down on these online scams, people then realized that the people who these people are talking to are actually victims themselves of human trafficking. It's people who are desperate enough to look outside for a job because they had no prospects where they are from. So who is usually the target for these trafficking job scams? They usually go for someone who is educated, trained in social media marketing, or you're able to run computer programs. Yes. So the people, the nerds, should I say, are usually the ones that find themselves in this situation. People from India, people from West Africa, people from any impoverished place who are looking for a better opportunity outside. They find job descriptions that match them, and sometimes they might be too good to be true, but because there's a possibility that it might work, people are willing to risk their lives and actually go in and try their luck, and then they find themselves in a situation where they can't leave. This syndicate usually has proven to thrive in an area like Myanmar. Myanmar is undergoing a civil war. So in a place where there's war, the regulations are usually down. These Chinese come in as investors, set up themselves human trafficking factories, and they set it up like a business. The people they are trafficking, they refer to them as customer service, and the people that they are scamming are called customers. They have set up compounds where they can host about 2,000 trafficked individuals who will be undergoing this same system of doing their scams. You might think, why would you actually go there and actually participate? These people are held under threat. They get tortured. They get electrocuted. If you haven't met your daily target, you're either beaten or starved. And if you're beaten enough, some end up being involuntary organ donors or being killed because of the environment which they work. They work for 17 to 19 hours nonstop. And you have to be responsive. You have to be aggressive with your customer. Make them fall in love with you. Make them trust you. Make them give you money. And so that you keep yourself alive. Some people manage to get out of it by buying themselves out. If your family is able to raise, let's say, 5,000 or 7,000 US dollars, they can send to these human traffickers, and you might have a chance to be released. But it is very rare, because for you to even be desperate enough to go there and look for a job, meaning where you are, who is going to find you the 5,000 US dollars to buy you back? For the people who find themselves as a victim of these scams, it's those who are lonely and who find themselves isolated, unable to talk to someone, unable to trust the people around them. So they look for love, they look for relationships, they look for investment somewhere on the internet. But the problem with that is that you leave yourself open to all sorts of scammers, all sorts of people who are looking to benefit from you and to get things from you. Most people think they're too smart to fall for these scams, but you have to realize that it has moved on from the Nigerian prince who asks you for money or a fake investment somewhere. Because a long time ago, people used to say, before you invest in an online business with someone you have never met, ask for a video call. But with the way technology has evolved now, anyone is able to make a video call with a deep fake AI and convince you of who they are not. They will change their voice, they'll change their appearance. You can no longer trust what you are seeing. You can no longer trust what you can hear unless you have met this person in person. That's when you can be safe enough to invest. That is like the surface problem that is there. Why does this industry of human trafficking thrive? Because of the worsening problem of unemployment. When we look at the people most likely to fall into these traps are promising young people from India, promising young youth from West Africa, Southern Africa, people who are desperate enough to risk anything. Because in these areas that I have mentioned, having a job is more than just your qualifications. If everyone has the qualifications that you have, it becomes who has the most connections or who has the biggest bribes that they can pay to someone to get a good job when you're within the country. The playing field is not level, and people get desperate because not being able to provide for yourself, not being able to provide for your family. Most of these people, when you look at their stories, they are desperate and they are willing to do anything. No one is there to level the playing field, to try to make sure that the people are taken care of. So they find themselves desperate enough to try anything. They hear a job offer somewhere and they pack up and leave and go. And for places like Myanmar, where the government knows that what is going on in their borders is wrong, but they're too busy fighting a war and they're unable to crack down. And sometimes even the soldiers are the ones that are facilitating this. The national soldiers have been hired by these goons to be their security. So it is very difficult to crack down on this operation. And for places like Cambodia, they reported that profits from these scams are actually half the nation's GDP. So even if you crack down on them in this area, they are going to find another country that is desperate enough to allow them to go there and set up their factories and thrive from there. The only way to stop these job scams from happening is to care for each other. Be able to recognize that this job offer I'm getting might be too good to be true. If you receive an offer online and the people are too eager for you to come, sometimes there's no online presence of the company, sometimes there's no face-to-face interviews or even Zoom interviews before you accept the job. Be wary of those job offers. And even when you go, have a backup plan. Find a way of being alert in that area. See if there's if the area you're going to is safe, and if there's anyone you can call for help should you find yourself in this situation. Because I don't think it is possible for you to be 100% certain that where you're going, you're not going to be trafficked. But be alert. And as human beings, let us who do not have the resources that we do have, and if there's a way of being able to help others to find a proper, more reliable job, let's do that. Let's form networks that help our friends thrive with legitimate leads and legitimate ways of making money, so that we don't fall prey to these online scams and human trafficking around the world. People are willing to do anything for money, so let us help those who we are able to help. See you in the next one.